Hi guys, and welcome to the Horror Room. So, this week, as you know, I told you I was going to show you some of my Puppet Master collection. Now, I have some stuff that I have displayed on my family video rack, so I'm not getting that because it's too similar to something else we're going to talk about, but I will mention it. But first, a little bit of history behind myself and Puppet Master. Back in the day when I was renting movies from Family Video, that was one of my favorite series to discover. From the first Puppet Master movie that I rented because I saw footage of it on Boogeyman. Here we are. I got this movie and it had, a compilation of some of the best horror scenes. And surprisingly, there was a lot on here I'd never heard of, never seen. And one of those films was Puppet Master. And of course, they showed footage from the first movie, and I was like, this movie looks crazy. Like, people think Chucky's scary. Puppet Master is probably 10 times scarier. And that classic artwork. They used to have, when the McFarlane figures, when they released the Puppet Master figures, they did come with a poster of this. I wish I still had it. It was like a smaller poster. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I do have a bigger poster for Puppet Master now, so I don't have to worry. But anyways, includes bonus video, no strings attached, a behind-the-scenes look at Puppet Master. Now, I don't think that this is the same as the video zones, which they put at the beginning of all the other ones. They don't do it at the beginning of every full moon video, though. I've noticed that. But the Puppet Master ones were always a treat to watch the video zones. Just a little behind the scenes glimpse. But yeah, the first Puppet Master movie, this is a classic. This is not from Family Video, though. I don't remember where I got this, but this is one of the harder to find ones, at least in good condition. And I'd say mine is in pretty good condition. So, Puppet Master 1. Then, of course, I have Puppet Master 2. I like this one a lot. This one definitely improves on the first one. I think it's a good mixture. And of course, the puppets aren't always bad. Sometimes they're good. But in this film, they're technically bad, but they're being used for bad by a Toulon. Then you have the third movie, which is a fan favorite. This is where they were technically good. They're, killing that certain group of military. Shame on you. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of... I can't even show the back because there's a symbol. Well, I mean, it's kind of on the front, too, but... yeah, this is when they first introduced a six-shooter right there. Pretty awesome, pretty awesome. And the full moons, video zones at the beginnings were really fun to watch. What in the world? Oh, no. What? Hold on. Well, if that is to be real... Okay, well, I just found a note in this tape. Because I admit I bought this online. I didn't buy it from a retailer, but it looks like it was from a rental store. There's a note in here. It says bad at 0 through 1, 1, 2, 3 minutes, etc., etc. I really hope that's not the case. I mean, I do think it's nice for the display of it. But I should probably check this tape now because when I got the tape, I saw the listing, I saw this. Did not see this little note though. So, oops. So I might have Puppet Master 3 on VHS. Uh-oh. I don't have 4, but I do have 5. I did get this last time at the VHS convention. I was excited to add this. Now I just need to get 4, and I have maybe just 4. Maybe I need to get 3. Now this is the only one that I did pick up from my local Family Video when they were shutting down the VHS and switching to DVD. So you can always tell by the little square in the corner. Curse of Puppet Master isn't the greatest, but I do really love the cover art. And the kill where Tunneler drills into the guy while he's working out. It's pretty awesome. So, needless to say, I definitely am a little bummed out about that part 3. But let's move on. let's talk about some of the DVDs that I own. Now, like I mentioned, I have another box set that's a much bigger one. It goes up to Retro Puppet Master, and it also has like a bonus disc with some trailers, but those are on display. I did pull one of the ones that I want to talk about from over there, though. But this pretty much has all the films in it up to part 4. So it just has the 4. And the other reason I didn't want to show the box set is it's literally designed the exact same way. It just has more movies in it. There's no bonus feature stuff. Well, other than like on the discs. Like there's no booklets. The covers, I'm not a big fan of them. They just got the weird borders. Like, I don't know. I'll show you part 1. I don't know. They just feel kind of bootleggy. They're official. I don't know. It's just kind of an early production now. Now we got the Toulon trunk that's like a Blu-ray box set, and it's got them all in there, or most of the ones that are released. It's a very nice one. Super expensive, though, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. And I don't have any of the Blu-ray releases. I know they released, I think at least the first 3 films on Blu-ray. But if I was to get one, obviously part 1 would be the one. And I think it came with like a little blade figure or something. I'm not worried about that. But I do have the original Puppet Master. This is from Razor Digital, and it is a 3D version of the original. Now, I've still not checked this out, but it comes with the glasses. It's formatted in the old red and blue style. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if any of the scenes would really pop out in 3D, but maybe down the line, I'll grab a bunch of these 3D movies and watch a few and see, if I can not get sick watching them. The other box set I mentioned, this is one of the ones that I had to pull out because if it wasn't for the box set, I honestly wouldn't own this movie because it's not my favorite, but Retro Puppet Master. I know this is a kind of a fan favorite, at least for the designs. Dr. Death, he's kind of interesting. But some of the choices they did for the other puppets, I'm like, And these are also, they released these as figures, the Full Moon line, which we'll talk about soon. Then you have some of the later release films. I don't have Puppet Master Legacy. That's the film with Greg Sestero, the guy who was in the room with Tommy Wiseau. I don't have that film. And I don't have, there's another later one. I know I don't have Blade and the Iron Cross. I don't think I want that one. And I haven't seen Dr. Death yet. But I have Axis of Evil, about a certain group, again, that the puppets are going after. I'll hold this case in a very specific way so you can't see the little emblem that they're slashing through, but Then we have Puppet Master Access Rising. Again, I have to be very careful how I show this one. But you can see some of the puppets right there. There's Blitzkrieg. Kamikaze's also on the cover. If you know, you know. Some of the puppet designs were a little racist. Then you have Access Termination. Well, I could just put my hand over there. Pretty sure, yeah, I'm just going to show it. Yeah, it's pretty goofy. You got the new puppets right there, the werewolf one, and then you have the one with the... Yeah, we're not going there. Does it say Wehrmacht, Bombshell, and Blitzkrieg? Okay. I think Blitzkrieg is the only returning puppet from the last movie. And then we have this movie, which I don't know if I ever want to watch this again, because I watched it once and it was pretty bad. It's not a remake. It has nothing to do with Full Moon. It's got Thomas Lennon in it. Puppet Master, littlest word that starts with an R. That has to do with that group. This is a bad movie. I mean, just look at some of the puppet designs. You got a beaver in a top hat. You got drones. I don't know what to say. I'll have to maybe do a review of that movie specifically one day, but today's not that day. Now, before we talk about the collectible stuff, I want to mention when it comes to t-shirts, there's not a lot. I got this one from Cavity Colors, and this is the thing I hate, is I can't buy, a $30, $40 t-shirt anytime they drop them, and they drop these weekly on these different sites, and trust me, the designs are fantastic, and if I could, I'd be getting one every week. There's so many Terrifier ones and Halloween ones and Friday the 13th ones that I don't have that I'm like, just stop, slow down. Now, this is an example of something you shouldn't do. I found this design, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, but they did not have my size. This is a size large. Maybe 20 years ago I could have fit into this, but I really, really love this design. My only complaint is it's a little faded, and that's not just from me wearing it. Some of these designs, when you get them, they are a little faded looking. Maybe that's done on purpose, but I like my colors to pop. If it's a brand new shirt, you want it to stand out. But it's still a cool design. I didn't want to waste the shirt. I can hold on to it. I could stand to lose a few pounds. So when Full Moon was releasing their own figures, see, here we have the Jester that I showed off back a little while ago. And they show off the features, like you can spin the head. They come with like a little trading card that you can cut out and collect. They got an advertisement for Full Moon Toys where you could get lots of other things. Sometimes they would advertise them right here on the box, but I love that the box is like, showing pictures from the actual films, not just pictures of the toys, which, would be fine too, but, it's just cool to have pictures from the movies, like you're getting quality. Here we have the gold edition of Pinhead. Now that's one thing that I really do love also is they have the picture of the puppet near the top. Jester's looks really sinister. I love that. He's one of my favorites. And then you have Pinhead up there. Not so much my favorite, but he's got some weight to it. And I will say, these range from $20 to $60. There's a lot of different weird variants for the different puppets. I don't really care about the variants. I mean, if it's the puppet and it's sealed, that's what I'm looking for. But yeah, I found this one for like 20, maybe 15, maybe. I can't quite remember, but yeah. And there's not too much about the back that's different. I would just say maybe the order of who they're showing. There's Miss Leach on the top. Still comes with a little card. Shows a little action things where his head will pop up, I guess. That's kind of interesting. But I will say what I really like about these figures versus the NECA release, which I don't have near me, I don't think. No, I don't. Those were like dinky. These are at least the same size as, let's compare it to Ash real quick. They're roughly about the same size as a NECA Ultimate. And, they might not have, all the articulation that the NECA ones have. But at least they're, scaled to a certain extent. Then you have this exclusive, previews exclusive. I don't know what that means. There's a mail order thing in here too. But Torch. I think this is one of the first ones I found, and I was excited. I almost opened it, I'm not going to lie. Because I used to have Jester, the McFarlane release figures, which, if you can look those up, they're very similar. I want to say they use the same molds that Full Moon did. Maybe they just were released through McFarlane for some reason. I could be wrong. They could be new molds. But they were all in their original outfits. I had Jester, and like I said, he came with a poster from the original movie. And And then they also had a 12-inch blade that was like blood splattered. And I got that at Spencer's back in the day. And that thing I should have kept in the box, or at least kept better care of it, because a motorcycle ran by. No, because needless to say, his hat and his hair came off, and there's nothing more terrifying than a bald blade. So, would not recommend. I also have a totem figure that I still have, but he's one of the ones from the Full Moon line. He's loose, but I don't care. And one of the things that I always thought was be like, oh man, that would be so cool. Like, imagine if you got a full scale Jester or Tunneler or Six Shooter. And Full Moon actually makes replicas of the puppets, but for some reason, the replicas always look a little off. Now, I get it, artist interpretation, can't recreate things one-to-one usually, but they seem to be going off a more unique design for each one of them. They're still recognizable, but just a little odd. And this is the only one that I thought looked pretty close. I prayed to get them. No, I paid a pretty good penny for them. They had multiple ones, but I was like, you know what? If I'm going to get a replica, I did lose my old blade. Maybe I should get a new one. And he came with a stand. He came with an authentic certificate. What I will say, his hat looks a little big. Like the scaling of the hat looks, I don't know, it's like a very big Abraham Lincoln-ish hat. Like, and of course you take his hat off and he looks bald. But the old figure, the hair was attached to the hat, so I'm glad that you don't have that. So with the hat, I mean, he doesn't look terrible. If you look at him from a distance on the shelf, I think he looks fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. His blade and his hook feel like they're made of wood, maybe. And his body is like a standard doll body. He's got a little bit of posability, but I prefer to keep him on this stand. That way he doesn't fall headfirst off my shelf. So yeah. And I had a friend that had I think it was Tunneler. He had one of the other ones. And I think he broke his. And there's no helping him. So there you have it. There's my Puppet Master collection. Let me know. Do you guys think it's a good collection? I think it's fun. I could talk about all the other Full Moon movies I have, but I think I did that on my old site. Maybe I'll do it down the road just to, rehash or talk about some of the interesting films, or maybe I can review some of them, because there are a lot of Full Moon movies that are like besides Puppet Master. But I had to share my collection. It's not huge, but I think it's fine. We did accidentally discover about that part 3 tape, so boo-hoo, I'm sad. But hey, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week for that video.